Steve Willis on top of the action for the 6th-round super bantamweight bout. Joseph Chisolm in the black and gold trunks, taking on Anel Dudo in the white and orange trunks. And again, we mentioned Dudo's record. He's 2-2-1 in his last 5, so he has not. When you look at the record and you see 4-7-1 overall, he's actually been better of late. And this has been despite having to be on the road, whether it's Nebraska, California, Florida, Denver, now Connecticut. So he's well traveled, used to this kind of lifestyle of traveling and being in someone else's backyard.
And when Joseph Chisolm fights someone, more than likely it's a man against a young guy, right? He's 20,
Very much.
like I mentioned, but he's a phenomenal fighter with an excellent amateur career. He comes from a fighting family. Both of his grandfathers were fighters, one in MMA, one in boxing. Even his mother knows how to box, apparently.
And you're right, Mariano. It's easy to forget that he's 20 years old. He made his pro debut at 18 in 2024 with CES. So a lot of people at 18 years aren't doing what he's doing, and you're still maturing as a person in and out of the ring. There's a lot that goes on with that. So, and we've seen that maturation process in all of his fights, even in the setback and the loss of Mohegan Sun. I think it was a lesson, like you mentioned, a lesson for him to learn and take from it. Came back so strong in his next fight, got his opponent out of there in 1 round, and now taking another logical step up in the next direction to try to get to 7-1. And to have 7 pro fights at the age of 20, not a lot of guys can say that. By the time he was 17, he had won 4 national titles.
Absolutely.
So a very well-established fighter. But Anel Dudo hanging in there so far. And you can see the experience that he brings into the table.
Yeah, Joseph definitely has to be wary here. He likes to explode, but he does need to be careful. He doesn't get countered. And Michael, talking about that setback to Sean Diaz, I spoke to Joseph Chisolm a couple of weeks later, and he mentioned to me that while he had a great training camp, he even trained in Las Vegas with Mayweather people, he had lost his childhood friend to gun violence just a few weeks before that fight, and his mind just wasn't there, right? He was physically ready, but mentally just not prepared to fight.
No, and anyone who knows anything about the sport or who's been in the ring knows that you have to be as prepared mentally as you do physically. Good body shot there by Chisolm.
And you can see how twitchy Jay Elite is, right? He can land a punch off of weird angles at the drop of a dime.
Dudo's coming forward. He's throwing punches, but there's a clear difference in speed, whether it's hand speed, foot speed. Chisolm is just simply a faster fighter.
Yeah. Chisolm is usually the smaller guy in there, but he's also the more electric fighter, right? He's very fast, he's very powerful, and he lands shots perfectly.
Chisolm again working the body. Starting to put that hand speed to use. Downstairs, back upstairs again. Good flurry of punches from Joseph Chisolm. He's starting to pick up the pace here, Mariano.
I saw that Dudo was doing some good work. He was trying to use his jab to back up Chisolm, land a right hand, but Chisolm very quickly adjusted and adapted to that and started throwing some nice uppercuts.
Final second there of round number 1 as the bell rings. And I think sometimes, too, Mariano, in a fight, when you don't know much about the opponent, you don't have a lot of film to watch, you kind of have to feel it out for a little bit, see what kind of power he brings to the table. And for Chisolm, I think he took a few shots there and says, okay, I don't think this guy can hurt me. Now I go in there and let my hands go and just be me and go out there and fight. And I think you'll see more of that even so in round number 2.
Yeah, fighting is his second nature for him, so he's just able to adapt on the fly in a fight.
Once again, this fight scheduled for 6 rounds as Joseph Chisolm tries to get win number 2 in a row. He had won his first 5 as a pro before suffering a loss to Sean Diaz. Diaz came into that fight 7-0 at the time, as we remember, at Mohegan Sun back in July. So Chisolm got right back in there in November. Not too long of a layoff. Took a few months to kind of recover mentally and physically, go back to the drawing board and look super sharp his next time out. And that shows a lot of maturity. Sometimes a loss can set things off in the wrong direction, but Chisolm got right back on the horse and got right back to his winning ways. And it does show, again, that maturity and the experience that he has in amateur. You're going to have setbacks at some point in your career. And it's how you respond to that really shows who you are as a fighter.
Absolutely, and he has a great support with his father as his trainer, who, is a longtime boxing fanatic. Joseph says that's all they talk about at home, whether it's on the way to the gym, on the way back, at dinner. But his father, he's his father. He cares a lot about him, and you can see that he keeps him focused.
Joseph Chisolm in the black and gold trunks, Anel Dudo in the orange and white. This is round 2 of a scheduled 6-round bout here at the Riverside Rebel. And We thank you for joining us tonight on Boxing TV. Michael Parenti and Mariano Agmi bringing you the action. And here is Chisolm starting to get that hand speed, put it to good use here in round 2. But Mariano, despite that difference in the speed, Dudo really isn't a sitting target, as you would expect. He's got some good head movement. He's gone out of the way of some of those big right hooks by Chisolm. And Chisolm really hasn't landed that big one yet.
Yeah. You're right. Duda is he knows what he's doing in there. He's well schooled. Like you mentioned, his record kind of betrays that he actually can fight, which is why Joseph can't go all out yet.
Yeah.
Right? He's got to set things up, and that's what he seems to be doing.
I think without question, you have to respect the opponent's experience. The fact that he's been on the road before, he's fought on the road most of his career. And we make a big deal of that because it's sometimes a little bit tougher to deal with when you've only fought in your home state or your home city in your career. First time you go on the road and deal with all the elements of the travel, the hotel, not being in your gym, just everything that's different from what you're used to, that can sometimes unnerve a fighter, especially a young fighter.
Yeah,
And
fighters
Dudo,
are a lot about tradition, right?
very much so. Creatures of habit.
Right, exactly. And when that tradition sort of gets disrupted, a lot of times it shows in their performance.
Dudo at 28, been on the road a number of times now. It's become second nature to him. And Chisolm has to prepare for that fight as he takes a quick little right hand to the body. Prepare for it like any other opponent. Prepare for it as if he is 7-0 and not 4-7-1.
Nice counter right hand from Joseph.
Chisolm landed that right hand as Dudo is trying to throw a similar right. And now a nice shot to the body by Chisolm, getting out of the way of Dudo's rights and lefts. Good uppercut there by Dudo, landed a good 3-punch combo. Chisolm seemed unbothered by it, flips a couple of quick jabs. Good body blow there by Chisolm. Final 10 seconds of round 2. Again, we're scheduled for 6. Joseph Chisolm, Anel Dudo. And there's the bell for round 2. Again, Chisolm continuing to go to work. He's the aggressor. He's throwing more punches. What would you like to see more of going into round number 3?
Well, I can see that Jay Elite is trying to set some traps. You can see that he's kind of stepping back, and then exploding. I like that he's going to his jab and trying to set things up. I think I want to see him be a little bit more aggressive, but in a very composed manner, right? Like, don't go all out, but start moving forward a little bit, applying some pressure.
Take a look here at some of the replay action from round 2. Again, Chisolm, a superior boxer, superior footwork, superior speed. He really has every advantage against Anel Dudo, but Dudo's a very tough veteran. The guy who comes to fight, he's going to keep coming forward, as you see there. So this is not someone that you've seen in previous fights that doesn't have a lot of gas in the tank, and at any sign of adversity is going to go down. Dudo's going to keep fighting. He's going to keep coming at him. And
Right.
Chisolm is really going to have to work for this.
And this is exactly what Joseph needs as he develops his career. Is a guy who's going to try to fight back, and so we can see him and how he adapts to adversity.
Round 3 underway. Again, Joseph Chisolm in the black and gold taking on Anel Dudo in the orange and white trunks. 6 rounds in the super bantamweight division. And to go back to your point about Chisolm and this being what he needs, I agree with that because he had a nice quick win. He got the layup in the last fight to kind of get back on track, get the taste of the loss out of your mouth. And now it's about progressing and taking a logical step in the next direction with every fight. Every opponent becomes a little bit tougher than the last one. And this one, obviously, a big step up from the previous.
Beautiful right hand off the pivot this time.
Chisolm's done a good job of getting out of the way and landing as he spins.
Yep. And you saw he landed a nice left uppercut to the body, then he went up top. He does a little bit of everything in there.
And it's kind of a typical Joseph Chisolm fight for those who watched him before. He lets it all out there. He gives you the entire arsenal throughout the course of the fight, puts all the skills to use. And again, I think every fight for him has been a step in the right direction and a learning lesson as he charges in with a nice 3-punch combo.
And you can see that despite being offensive, very offensive, he still minds his defense, right? He doesn't let himself stay still too long. He's always reacting to everything Dudo is doing.
Chisolm in control here in round number 3. Once again, we thank you for joining us on Boxing TV. Beautiful Saturday in Hartford, Connecticut, here at the Connecticut Convention Center.
Nice right hand from Chisolm.
Chisolm starting to get more comfortable and more confident as these rounds go on. You can just sense it in his style. The more he lets his hands go, the more confident he is. Remains elusive, too, as Dudo tries to stalk him down and cut the ring off, but Chisolm not having it. Good right to the body. Another right to the body.
Michael, he's just making him pay for every single move that he does. Whenever Dudo tries to start some offense, Chisolm makes him pay. And you can see he's digging to the body.
Great left to the body there by Chisolm as Dudo missed with the right hand. And again, he's just a step ahead. He's been a step ahead since the opening round.
Yep.
And while Dudo continues to throw, not much is getting through on Chisolm's defense. It's kind of an underrated part of his game there. We're so used to the flashy hand speed and the other footwork and the moves, but his defense has been very solid in this fight, too.
Very responsible defensively, for sure. Kind of fights like a cat, right? I mean, he's like you said, he's thinking one step ahead every time, reacting very quickly. I don't think Dudo is seeing some of these punches coming back.
Chisolm very comfortable fighting on the perimeter as he lands another good flurry. And Dudo just a step too slow as the bell rings in round number 3. Another solid round for Joseph Chisolm. And you're really seeing the confidence start to build now. Once again, we want to remind you to stay with us throughout the night here at the Riverside Rumble. We've got more big fights to go, including 2 title bouts. Jacob Lefty Marrero from Bridgeport in the main event puts his undefeated record on the line against Rowan Javier Sanchez. That fight is for the vacant WBC FICAR Box Lightweight Championship. And, of course, earlier on tonight, we will see Iman Lee, 14-0-1 from Danbury, Connecticut, the NABF Super Featherweight Championship on the line in that bout. The vacant title up for grabs as Lee takes on Jose Nunez Sosa from the Dominican Republic. 2 explosive 8-round title bouts to headline this show coming later on tonight. But right now, we're halfway through this super bantamweight bout between Joseph Chisolm and Anel Dudo from Colorado. And Dudo, or rather Chisolm, continuing to build confidence as the rounds go on, and we'll see if he can start to pick up the pace even more here in round number 4. He has yet to go the distance in a fight that he's won. He's only gone the distance in a losing effort. All 6 of his wins have come by knockout. And we'll see if that streak ends tonight.
Yeah, he's in against a very determined fighter, you can tell. Sturdy fighter who's still looking to win the fight. Chisolm showing that defense again, avoiding most of those shots coming to him. He's doing it in a variety of ways, right? Whether he's moving with the punches, whether he's parrying.
A very solid all-around performance so far by Joseph Chisolm here in round number 4. And again, Dudo continues to throw. He continues to come forward. Just really hasn't been able to find the secret sauce, if you will, against Chisolm.
That's right.
I think a lot of that is just related to Chisholm's speed and his elusiveness. Good head movement, gets out of the way there, lands a couple of punches on the break. Oh, big right hand there by Chisolm. Dudo says he wants more. That's the best punch that Chisolm's landed all night. As clean as you'll see a right hand.
Looks like there's a little bit of blood coming out of Chisholm's nose now.
So he's something to keep an eye on. Chisolm continues to work downstairs. Working on the body first, then going upstairs, trying to draw that defense down from Dudo. Nice overhand right, clips him on the side of the temple. And Chisolm, despite the nosebleed, really is picking it up here in round 4. So we assume that came from a punch, so we never really know.
Dudo in hot pursuit of Joseph Chisholm as Chisholm goes from left to right, quickly changing angles. But Dudo's here to fight, and he's landing a couple of his own shots, and you can see it on Chisholm's face.
Chisholm trying to land that short uppercut to the body, then come back upstairs with the right hook. And again, staying out of the way of most of Dudo's power punches. Lands a little three-punch combo. Dudo again trying to charge in with the right hand. He misses. Nice jab by Chisholm. He eludes a few punches in the corner with his back to the ropes. Another good round there for Joseph Chisholm. But again, he's got all he can handle tonight from a very veteran durable opponent. And this is a good lesson for him tonight.
This is definitely a very stern test, and I'm hoping that Chisholm can do something different in the next few rounds, just to confirm that he's the victor here. I think he needs to put the exclamation mark on this fight.
Two more rounds to go. Dudo still in it, still fighting. He's still coming forward. And Chisholm really just trying to find the openings and use his speed to his advantage. But he's fought a very good game plan so far. I think defensively he's been very good. Even though he got busted up a little bit in that last round, he's got a little bit of a nosebleed coming out of that right nostril. Otherwise, hasn't absorbed a lot of damage in this fight.
Yeah, I think he's definitely winning the fight. He does a lot of subtle things that I think maybe the fans might not see. Right, we could see it because we're so up close. So I'd like to see him maybe push the accelerator a little bit more and just seal the deal.
All right, here we go for round number 5. Once again, we thank you for joining us on Boxing TV. Michael Parenti and Mariano Agmi bringing you all the action. It's the Riverside Rumble presented by CES Boxing. And right now you're watching Joseph Chisholm in the black and gold trunks taking on Anel Dudo in the orange and white. And if you're just joining us, so far it's been all Joseph Chisholm. Dudo hanging in there, continuing to come forward and fight. Chisholm just 20 years of age, using his exceptional speed and footwork to his advantage in this fight. And again, trying to close out on a strong note. Again, you see Dudo just a step behind when he throws that right hand. Chisholm's already halfway out of the way. Good right hand from Chisholm. He took right and left of his own as Dudo comes back. Probably the best combo he's thrown. And Dudo kind of throwing his hands up to say, is that all you got? And that might wake Chisholm up a little bit. Even though Chisholm's landed some clean shots, it doesn't appear that Dudo is all that impressed.
No, he's been determined all night. He's been moving forward all night.
Good body shot there. That one stopped Dudo in his tracks. Blood still coming out of the nose of Joseph Chisholm, but it's done nothing to deter him at all. Another good combination.
Great work with the left hand tonight. In general, right? With the
really
the left hooks, the uppercuts, very sneaky uppercuts.
Absolutely. And he really did a nice job of changing levels on Dudo.
Yep.
Going to the body, going upstairs, and again, there it is. Nice two-punch combo. Starts with the body, ends with a shot upstairs. And now Chisholm getting out of the way, showing that foot speed. That blood is really pouring out of the nose. Minor distraction, but Chisholm continues to just focus on the task at hand. Good body shot there by Dudo with the right hand. Good right hand by Chisholm. And Dudo insists he wants more. And you got to love the fighting spirit. Both of these guys want it. And you wonder at this stage if Chisholm's almost too focused on trying to land that one big blow. Not seeing him put together as many combinations as you would like to see. And you consider that fatigue obviously sets in for both fighters. Him being the younger fighter, you want to see him pick the pace up in round 5. Good left hand there by Dudo.
And you wonder whether the blood, just bleeding from the nose, maybe he's not breathing as well as he was earlier on. But there he goes. Great action fight.
It's been fast-paced from the opening round. Another good round for Joseph Chisholm. I thought for a moment there got a little too trigger-happy or maybe a little bit too dependent on that one punch. He knows that right hand's a big weapon for him. I think in his mind thinking if he lands a big one, he can end this fight. But Dudo is not a guy that goes down easily, as we've seen through these first 5 rounds. So I think for Chisolm, it's about just getting back to basics and letting your hands go and throwing those combinations, being your typical elusive self, and trying to close this fight out in style. But close it out with the victory, not so much worrying about how the finish goes. This could very well be, if we go 3 more minutes, the first time that Chisolm goes the distance in a victory,
Right.
as I believe he's got a wide margin of victory right now in the scorecards.
You know, and Mike, despite Dudo having 7 losses, he's never been stopped. So something's got to give here, and we'll see. You know, you got a guy with all of his wins by knockout, a guy who's never been stopped. We have final round here, but Dudo's been putting a lot of pressure on Joseph Chisolm.
Dudo's still coming to fight. He's having a good time in there. He's taunting. He's giving a little bit of it back to Chisolm. And you can tell this is somebody who's used to being on the road, used to fighting the promotion's top fighter, used to fighting in another fighter's backyard. It's nothing that will unfaze or unnerve him. As we get the opening bell here for round number 6. Referee Steve Willis on top of the action here tonight.
I'm expecting Dudo to go all out to try to win this fight, because I don't think he's winning it. But I think Joseph Chisolm also wants to make his own statement in his home state.
Could lead to a very explosive round 6. Both fighters with their own reason for wanting to close the show here. Dudo needs it. Chisolm wants it.
Yep.
And we'll see how it plays out here over these final 2.5 minutes. Joseph Chisolm in the black and gold. Anel Dudo in the orange and white. The 6th and final round of this entertaining super bantamweight bout. Nice right hand by Chisolm. That one snuck through. And really the story of this fight, for the most part, is that Dudo just simply cannot catch Chisolm. No matter how much he comes forward, no matter how he tries to cut the ring off, he may land 1 or 2 at a time, but very few opportunities for him to pin Chisolm against the ropes or pin him in the corner and let his hands go. He's really done a lot of chasing in this fight. And Chisolm is more than comfortable fighting that way.
Absolutely. Chisolm twisting and turning, avoiding most of the shots, landing some good counters. Just like that. And Chisolm looks as energetic now as he did earlier on. Right? You can see that he's avoiding most of the incoming, landing some quick punches, feinting when he needs to.
It's been a very solid performance for Joseph Chisolm. It's continued here in round number 6. And the best part for Chisolm is he hasn't had to sacrifice much on the other end when he's landed a good solid right hand.
Yep.
Sometimes the fighter has to eat a punch or 2 to get on the inside, but Chisolm is so fast and elusive, he's able to do it and get out of the way and avoid any danger on the other side.
And Mike Chisolm is proving to himself that he doesn't have to stop every single opponent, right? There's going to be some that are going to go the distance, but he still was able to dominate him.
I think, like you said earlier in the fight, this is something he needed. Rounds.
Yep.
To be dragged into deep waters would be on the other side of the scorecard for a change. The last time he went the distance, it was in a losing effort, and he had to be a little bit more desperate in the end of the fight. This time he doesn't have to be more desperate. Now you get to go in there in a different scenario where you have a lead and you need to just box.
That's right. That's right. You don't have the pressure of having to knock every single person out in the first round, because you don't really learn that much when that happens. I'm sure he's learned more in this fight than he has in his 6 previous fights.
Absolutely. You get to this level of 7, 8 fights in your pro career, the opponents get a little bit tougher each time. And Anel Dudo, tough as they come. Both fighters putting on a great show here tonight as we get the final bell. Great job. Nice show of respect in the end. A very solid performance for Joseph Chisolm. Anel Dudo, a nice job as well, but I think Chisolm was just too fast and too much in the end.
I agree. Very good action fight, but I think there was a clear winner.
Chisolm acknowledging his fans. He brought a lot of them to the arena tonight. Hopping on the second rope to acknowledge the fan base and attendance here. Fan favorite from Stratford, Connecticut. And by all accounts, looks like he'll get to 7-1 after this one. Going the distance for just the second time in his pro career, but a very impressive performance. And Mariano, like you said, I think he learned a lot in the course of these 6 rounds. Arguably more than he learned in those first 5 fights that he won.
This is going to make him a better fighter. He had to deal with a lot of blood coming out of his nose. Had to deal with an opponent who wouldn't give up. He landed some great shots, and the opponent kept coming, and he still was able to win the fight.
Faced a little adversity, faced a little bit of a minor annoyance with the nosebleed. He'd still have to go out there and fight and do a spectacular job in the process. And that's a very good, opportunity and a very good result in the end. for Joseph Chisholm as he looks to go to 7-1. Anel Dudo again coming in out of town, putting up a great fight, giving Chisholm all he could handle and giving Chisholm opportunities to work on some different things, and still facing a fighter that has a little bit of that punch and power that's still dangerous in his own right, just enough to keep Chisholm on his toes and make him cognizant of his defense while still trying to land the shots that he needed to land to win the fight. I think it was a great job all around, and we'll send it up now to our ring announcer, Adam Palazzo, who has the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, how about a round of applause for both these warriors after this battle? At the sixth up rounds, we go to the scorecard. Judge Fellow scored the fight 58-56. Judge Hammond scored the fight 59-55. Judge Hayes scored the fight 58-56 for your winner by unanimous decision, Joseph Chisolm.